Hey there everybody. Promised this video, boy, a couple weeks ago now, and just finally getting around to actually doing it. Tried it on my cell phone a couple days ago, but I think it's gonna probably be better to watch now that I'm doing this on the more professional camera. So this is basically just going to be a tour of the layout. We had an operating session a week or so ago, and went pretty well, all things considered. A couple of hiccups I gotta work on, but figured now that that's out of the way, I'd kind of put the layout tour up on Facebook for everybody that hasn't been able to make it out yet. So we're starting down here in North Bessemer, and this is a 8-track yard, track 0 through 7. And we got a northbound coal train. We're just going to kind of generally, I'm going to have it running while we're doing this. So we're going to leave North Bessemer now, and I'll kind of go location by location the whole way north. We got three SD38s here. This is, of course, XB. So I'm going to go back through the closet here, or what was a closet, come out into the main room. He'll be coming right through there. Out here we have the, this is the crew call area with the headsets and throttles, rules and bulletins, track map, and a little photograph here, painting I should say. Come across the lift bridge here at East Oakmont. And then we'll head through the wall. This is the lounge. Got the Helix in here, which we'll get to in a bit. This will eventually be the Allegheny River Bridge that you can see off the Pennsylvania Turnpike. My friend Nick Ozrak is still building the last 2 sections for that, and that'll be up and running. Back here we got Allegheny Industrial District and Essex South, so this is the south end of the passing siding. And he'll head back through Saxonburg and through another wall. The lounge is pretty cool. TV set up and library down here. Move this out of the way. Library. And my buddy Zach Gill helped me get all this furniture together for the ops session. A nice little drink stand here. A couple chairs. So, yeah. It's coming along. So right now our train is headed through Saxonburg and to the north end of that double-ended passing siding. He's going to come out down here at a place called Odell, and right where this foam is right here with the cardboard. This will eventually get removed, and there'll be a trestle here over a creek and over the Buffalo and Pittsburgh main line. This would be the south side of Butler, Pennsylvania. On the other side of that creek, this will be AK Steel. Obviously I have a lot of work to do here getting buildings built. This building here is just temporary for filler. This will be a 5-track rolling mill that the Butler Yard crew will come down and drop cars off and bring cars back to Butler Yard. And, so right now the train's coming, but the track he's on will remain hidden from Saxonburg all the way until he comes around this curve. Further up here, we have the mill runner track right here, and this is the main. So these two converge at a location known as south end of Standard Junction. Before we go through, this will be a small representation of Butler, Pennsylvania. Up here we have Standard Junction at the north end, where there was interchange with Conrail and still today the Buffalo and Pittsburgh. Then we come into Calvin Yard in Butler. Like I said, this back track here, way in the back, will be hidden. So then we just have the main and the transfer that branches off into all these yard tracks. So, bunch of space here. There is a whole crew that's just dedicated to switching this. Here's the yard power 2001 caboose and the 867. There's also 2 interchange tracks for the Buffalo and Pittsburgh. And then the north end of the yard. This is actually switched via sitting in this chair here. Makes it a lot easier because this is on the bottom level. And a lot of manual switches to grab here, so I think that worked well for the operator, having a chair to a rolling chair with mats to use while they were switching instead of banging their head off the top level. So our train is coming through the yard now, and he's going to go off back through the wall, and I'll catch up with him over there. Again, that SX North location will be hidden on that hidden track, so this is actually Calvin Yard in Butler. So back in the other room here, our train's coming around the corner here at a location called Oneida, for all of you familiar with the railroad. I do intend to get more lighting in some of these locations, so bear with me. Right now we're coming around the outside of the Helix, which we'll be going up shortly. So we'd be between Oneida and Jamesonville in this area. Come around. It's a nice place if people are sitting in here waiting to get called for the next crew. You know, they can hang out on the futon and have a cold one. Just watch the trains go by. So we're going back through another wall, back into the main layout room. This is the one scenic portion of the layout. This is Queen Junction. Interchange with the Western Allegheny division. This actually was a layout I had in an old apartment that I managed to fit into the existing layout, so it kind of helped me develop some sort of skills, I guess, to build the bigger layout here. And this is a separate crew, and I do have Western Allegheny F units to do that job, as long as a coal mine to service as well. So this basically wraps around this hill and then comes down this hill track here back in to join the main line. And there's a little yard here for interchange between the main line and the WA. So I stopped my train here because we're coming into an area known as Branchton. For those of you familiar, this is my temporary rendition of Mercer Lime and Stone Company. Have a covered hopper here. Typically, this will get covered hoppers and open top hoppers as well for limestone products. And there's also going to be a Y here, some maintenance of way stuff. There's a box car like that at the actual real location. So yeah, just a good online customer. Also have another one up here represented. This is going to be Montgomery Lumber in Grove City, Pennsylvania. Just a one car type of customer. Obviously lumber products, so center beams like this and box cars is what they'll get. Makes for interesting moves here. You might have to run around the car down at Butler or take it all the way south, bring it all the way back north just to spot it. I guess you could gravity switch it too if you really wanted to, but that's against the rules right now. So train's going back through the wall. We'll go catch up with them. Going up the Helix now. Alright, so now we're on the Helix here. Coming up through, this would be around Mercer, Pennsylvania. Obviously this isn't really reflective of any real scene on the Bessemer. These are 4% grades. A lot of guys out there are probably going to think I'm insane for doing something that steep for a mainline with 6-axle engines, but it seems to work fine. I only run about 10 car trains max, just based on the size of the sidings I have. I'm more of an operations type of person that I'd rather have several more trains running on the whole layout than I otherwise would if I was running just one or two really long trains. So this is about the average length of a train I'd be running. The whole Helix is made from Woodland Scenic's riser sets, so pretty spot on. Like you saw there, pretty much seems to run up the Helix without a problem. So we made it to the top here, coming into Plymouth, Pennsylvania. It's a place where southbound ore trains go in the other direction than our train. They typically tie their trains down before they recrew and head south towards North Bessemer and eventually down to Pittsburgh on the Union Railroad. So coming in through back to the other room. This is KY. The track going off to the right is the High Line. It bypasses Greenville. And then coming through here, this is duck down. This is XN interlocking, where the Bessemer crossed over the Erie-Lackawanna. Today, single track Norfolk Southern Meadville line. So this will eventually be a separately operating railroad entirely, the EL. But more to come on that. Down the road. We're coming into Shenango Yard here. These two tracks here are the Pennsylvania Railroad's Erie and Pittsburgh branch. And then we have a yard down here for interchange between the Pennsy, the EL, and the Bessemer. This is 5 tracks here at Shenango, PA. You can see the EL crossing, various yard tracks, the 2 mains, and then the EMP interchange where the work train is sitting. So nice little scene. I just have the bicentennial EL engines sitting there waiting for the day when they get to run on that oval. And a little Pennsy Jeep. This was actually, I put this on here, it's a Jeep 30, just because it was one of the first model railroad engines my dad bought when I was a kid. So pretty cool to put that out on the layout. Coming through the double crossovers here between Shenango and Greenville shops, and we'll just pause here for a second while change crews to head to Conneaut. Got some E&L power sitting up where their main line will continue, and then in the background there again is the High Line. Obviously behind the E&L engines will eventually be Chicago Bridge and Iron. It was a factory in Greenville that made all sorts of castings and spherical tanks, all sorts of stuff came out of there. This is the Greenville shop facility, so it's going to be the main engine servicing facilities for the railroad. Have some engines here, other road sets, cabooses, some M&W equipment, bad ordered engines. Have a whole line here of stuff that just needs decoders put in it. And eventually these two little switchers are going to end up down in Butler instead of the 867. A couple tunnel motors, F units, even some steam. Someday that Texas type will get running, but not for many years to come. So that's Greenville. Kind of a wider shot of the room here. Eventually this back shop will have tracks in it to get engines in and out of there. Some more shop buildings. I don't know if I'll permanently leave things placed this way. Just kind of playing around with ideas. And this northern end of the double track siding, this is called the low line, as opposed to the high line, the highest track there. And the Erie is in the middle. But this location on the low line is called GV. Here we go back to single track before we go through downtown Greenville here. Not sure if this will be the permanent placement for the buildings. It's just here to kind of give you an idea of what it's going to look like as far as the layout of the buildings go. But subject to change. If you've ever been to Greenville, it's kind of one of the more popular, angles, I guess, is going between it's just a tight fit between the buildings there for the low line. Coming up now through, this is Osgood on the low line, so the high line will cross that big trestle, and the EL is where the C425's at. Then the NYC will also cross over. The New York Central branch out to Stoneboro will cross over the low line here and go under the high line. But that's excited about that scene. I think it'll be cool to have 3 of the 4 railroads there fully operational. So this is going to be the high line, so it's kind of hiding the low line as we come up towards this is KO Junction, where the low line and the high line meet here, and then we split back into 2 main tracks for a passing area. Get down to the more famous photo angle. coming through. Normally this would be north end of KO, but I kind of merged KO to be the south end of this siding, and then NV North is the north end of it. This is going to be a pretty nice open area to see the trains go by. And here we're coming in through Albion. So the north end, I know, is quite compressed compared to the south end, but there just isn't as much switching or customers, online customers on that part of the railroad. So this is Albion, and then this switch here that we're going over to the left where the train's running is the Conneaut branch, and to the right will be the Erie branch up to Girard, and eventually Erie, Pennsylvania. Going back through the closet. So when we started, we came out down there. Now we're going back through here. Now the train is back. Kind of going over top of where we started at North Bessemer, but coming down the hogback hill down towards, we're coming down into Conneaut now, the port of Conneaut, where they would unload the coal, load the ore, and in a typical operating session, we'd run from Greenville and run a coal train north, and then pick up ore at Conneaut and come back south with that. Everything operates as turn jobs on this railroad, either Greenville to, step in the other room here, Greenville to Conneaut and back to Greenville, or Greenville to North Bessemer and back would be a job. Taking ore south, coal or empties north. Greenville to Butler, taking scrap down to the yard job, and then the other job, as I said earlier, is just the Butler yard crew that just constantly takes cars from the yard down to the steel mill and vice versa. So, still coming down the hill here towards Conneaut. This is my kind of work area where all my supplies are. And eventually there's going to be a little creek seen off to the right here, and the Nickel Plate Railroad trestle going over the Bessemer, as well as the New York Central water level route will be along in this area. Coming back through the wall here under this bridge, this would be the south end of Conneaut Yard. So, CX. As I said, operationally, typically just come in here and drop these cars off and turn on ore and head south, or if we're running more modern operations, I guess just run light power half the time. So, not really sure what I'm going to do here. Might be a limestone dock eventually here. Might do that limestone dock just coming off a switch or something, coming off where the engine is, and we just have a lot of room here. And that would kind of allow for some more switching opportunities in Conneaut, which in real life there is a yard crew base there, as most of you probably know. This is the main holding yard that we started at in the beginning of the video. This end being Conneaut, this end representing North Bessemer, which makes it pretty convenient because these loaded coal hoppers are going to come into the yard here, and if we were running this as an operations session, this would be loaded coal that then came into Conneaut, but is now in a position to run north again on the layout as a northbound coal train. So that is the layout. Basically, just to kind of zoom out and give you a more overall picture of the rooms here. This is we call this the gray room, just because it's gray, kind of still messy in here a little bit. But this is the main staging area for Conneaut and North Bessemer. And we have the main room, which is the double deck Shenango up top here, Queen Junction down below. Also, this is Albion going down towards MD North, and still in the main room here, Butler down below, KO Junction up top, Osgood in the back there, Calvin Yard and Butler down on the bottom. They're straight ahead on the bottom. We got Greenville Shops here on the top, and then just below that is Branston area. So, a sweeping overview here, since I probably concentrated a bit on the track work and locations during the rest of the video. We'll kind of end this in the green room here. Just give you one more look at the crew sign up area. Again, I guess for those, I didn't open this before, but this is a lift gate. This is how we get in and out of the place. Lock that up. And this is the lounge. So after a run, you probably come hang out in here for a little bit, shoot the breeze. This is Cremis. Down towards Oneida on the bottom. The Allegheny Industrial District. The River Bridge. And the Helix. So that's just a quick, or not so quick, tour of the layout. I'm sure we'll have something more professional down the road. I'll try and keep you updated as progress happens, I guess. If people want to see it, let me know. If you find this completely boring, let me know and I can stop doing it, I guess. But if people are curious, I will keep updating you about it. So until next time.